Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're covering one of the most important topics in the entire field for cybersecurity and IT, which is the NIST Incident Response Framework, and specifically we'll talk about the NIST Special Publication 800-61. The NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Founded in 1901, it's a U.S. agency that advances science standards and technology. And the NIST Special Publication 800-61 is the U.S. government's official framework for responding to cybersecurity incidents. This is something you definitely need to be familiar with if you're entering the field of cybersecurity or IT. Before we start, let me present you with some numbers. According to IBM's 2024 Cost of Data Breach report, the average data breach now costs $4.88 million. And on average, organizations take 204 days to even identify that a breach has occurred. That's almost 7 months of an attacker being inside your network, and then another 73 days to fully contain it. These numbers exist because organizations either didn't have an incident response plan, or their plan just wasn't good enough. And then NIST SP 800-61 is basically the solution. By the end of this video, you'll understand all 6 phases of the NIST incident response, what you do in each one, and how they all interconnect. So without further ado, let's jump into it. To start, we'll cover the first 3 phases of the NIST Incident Response Plan. This is everything from before an incident happens, all the way to stopping it. Phase 1 is preparation. I want to be direct here. This is the most critical phase, and it's the one most organizations do the worst. And this is probably because when a cyber attack is happening, it's not the time to figure out your response plan. You're under pressure, it's possibly the middle of the night, and if you don't have a plan in check, people are going to panic and make mistakes. Preparation means building your playbooks before you need them, like a ransomware playbook, a phishing playbook, or a data exfiltration playbook. Each one will tell your team exactly what to do step by step so that in a crisis everyone already knows their role. It also means making sure your SIEM is actually logging the right things, your team knows who to call and how, and your forensic tools are staged and ready. Phase 2 is detection and analysis. An alert fires, so now what? Well, your first question is this real or a false positive? Most SOC analysts spend most of their time exactly on this question. You're correlating alerts from your SIEM, EDR, IDS, and other threat intelligence feeds. When you determine that it's real, then you move into analysis. You figure out what systems are affected, what data was touched, and if the attacker is still active. The key skill in this phase is scoping. If you underscope the incident and assume only one machine is affected when actually 10 are, then your containment will fail. So always assume the blast radius is larger than it looks. Phase 3 is containment. This is split into 2 sub-phases. Short-term containment is immediate. You want to isolate the infected system, block the malicious IP, and disable the compromised account. You want to stop the bleeding right then and there. But do not wipe the machine yet, as you will need to collect evidence of the attack first. Take memory dumps and disk images before you touch anything. Long-term containment is the bridge. The organization keeps running at reduced risk while you prepare for the full cleanup. So remember that phases 1 through 3 are basically to get ready for the attack, to find it, and to stop it. Now that we have phases 1 through 3 understood, we'll move on to the back half of the NIST IR framework, phases 4 through 6. Phase 4 is eradication. You've contained the threat, so now you have to completely remove it. This means removing malware artifacts, patching the vulnerability that was exploited, deleting any accounts the attacker created, and revoking any access tokens or credentials they may have grabbed. A critical rule here is to not move to recovery until you have confirmed the root cause. How did the attacker get in? Like, was it a phishing email, an unpatched CVE, a stolen credential? If you restore before you know the entry point, you risk restoring right back into a compromised state, and I've seen organizations skip this step and get reinfected within 48 hours. Phase 5 is recovery. It's time to bring the systems back online, but carefully. You restore from clean, verified backups. You rebuild from a gold image if needed, and you reset all the credentials, not just the obviously compromised ones, because you don't always know the full scope of what the attacker touched, and you bring the systems back online in phases, not all at once. And before you go back into production, you want to validate. So you want to rescan for malware, verify the patches applied, and test that the business function works. Then once it's back, you just don't walk away. You monitor with heightened alert sensitivity for 30 to 90 days. Attackers often leave dormant persistent mechanisms that only activate after you think you've cleaned up. And finally, we've reached phase 6, post-incident activity. This is the most skipped phase, and it is the most valuable. After every incident, you'll run a lessons learned meeting. Every responder in the room will ask questions and respond to stuff like what happened, What did we do well? What did we do badly? And what do we need to change? From that meeting, you'll create an incident report, which is basically just a written timeline of the entire event. And then you'll go back and you'll update your playbooks to close any gaps that the incident exposed. Additionally, you'll also want to track your metrics. MTTD is the mean time to detect the attack, and MTTR is the mean time to respond to the attack. These numbers tell you whether your security program is improving over time, and they're what you bring to leadership when you need to make a change or budget for better tools. And with that, we've basically gone through all 6 phases of the NIST incident response, and a memory anchor to remember phases 4 through 6 is that it is first to remove it, to restore it, and then to learn from it. In part 2 of this series, we'll go through the NIST incident response in the real world. But for now, be sure to have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.